this evening. My name is Derek Jackson. I'm a member of the Mckellar Park Community Association. A few of my fellow Community Association members are with me here today. Thanks for joining us. I think it's actually quite appropriate that as the weather hits double digits, and I don't know about your place, but my driveway is a pool right now, that we're talking about getting ready for the rainy season. So first off, before I introduce our speaker tonight, I just wanted to quickly say, on behalf of the Mckellar Park Community Association, a big welcome. We've got, I see Councillor Teresa Kavanagh from Bay Ward here, Ward 7, I think it is, and actually soon to be the ward of our community association, and Councillor Kavanagh is running again in the next election, so possibly our councillor maybe sometime in, is it this year now, 2022, I guess. So welcome, welcome, Teresa. And for those, the rest of us, some from our community, maybe some from outside, but certainly welcome. Our little community association is here to put on a few events like this throughout the year. We're looking at getting our fall fair back up and running again in real life, as they say, this fall if we can, and we'll do a few other fun things. We've run some political debates. We were involved with the last federal debate, which was a big undertaking, and we'll see. We're looking at the different options for we've got a provincial debate coming up as well, and many other things, all things politics. If anybody wants to talk politics, you found a good engaged group. So let me get on to what we're here for tonight, and I think we'd scheduled about an hour, but we'll see how long this takes. It's up to everyone on the call if they have questions for our guest, and we're happy to stay on and entertain the Q&A portion. But let me, we'll invite here Simon Greenland-Smith. He's the coordinator for the Rain Ready Ottawa program with the city of Ottawa. I noticed they've got a Facebook page if you're into that, and even on Instagram. And I'll leave the details of the program to the expert, but was just talking to Simon, and the credentials checked out. He's got a master's in environmental studies from Dalhousie University. And I personally think this is a really interesting program, and one I'm also a client, I guess. So here's my Rain Ready Ottawa home assessment that I had done, I guess in the last summer, and so I'm actually kind of going through this program myself, and that's what sort of turned me on to what's out there. And I think maybe Simon will explain it. Like, we do live, Mckellar Park is one of these older urban neighborhoods that I think a lot of the places weren't designed for handling water and the loads there are today, and so many changes to our neighborhoods. And so from what I can tell, they're just looking to help soak up some of that rainwater and give us some simple actions that we can all take, some very simple things to more robust things. If you get an assessment like I did, there's some money available to do some of the bigger operations. So I'll like I said, I'll leave that to Simon. So I think Simon's got a presentation here today that he did say he'll be able to share with us after, for those that are interested. And finally, I believe you may have seen the notice, but we are recording the presentation portion of this, just FYI. So wanted to let you know that. So over to you, Simon. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Derek. I really appreciate that. Really glad to see the home assessment. That would have been probably Lilia that came out to your house. She's done 116 she did last year, and there's more for this year. So I think we're gonna get her out doing maybe 150 this year. So she's got a full-time job visiting people's houses. She sees people's problems, hears about people's problems, and importantly, she's recommending little things that people can take on themselves or with the help of a contractor to make their properties sort of enhanced. Like Derek said, I've got a presentation, so I will share that now. And can I get a thumbs up if you can see that? Perfect. Okay. I don't know how many there are, about 20 slides here, but we'll probably get to the end and we can take some questions. Yeah, like Derek said, my program is called Rain Ready Ottawa. It's a program of the City of Ottawa, and it's designed to help homeowners make environmentally beneficial choices on their properties that help them, help the river, and help our local communities deal with small-scale overland flooding. So those are our goals. Our objectives when we started this were to build some landscape industry capacity, and you'll see how we've done that. I go over a couple of these. Build homeowner awareness and the skills that are required to implement these projects. Encourage individual homeowners, residents to take action and sort of retrofit their properties. And importantly, to reduce the financial barriers that people face when they're taking on a more complex project. This is sort of a visual representation of our program. We do an industry training program. This is for landscape professionals in the Ottawa area. We do the home assessment program, which Derek was talking about. I think this is a really, really excellent offering. There's huge demand for it now, so it's hard to get these assessments, but we're working on a bit of an alternate route. And then we do community engagement, which is, events like this, talking to engaged community members is a big part of what we do. And then we've got design and installation incentives that undergirds the whole program, and that reduces the financial barriers that residents face. The program that we offer to train landscape professionals is called the Fusion Landscape Professional Training Program. It's a pretty rigorous certification program. It takes a couple of full days for trained and experienced professionals to go through, and they're learning the ins and outs of rain gardens, soak-away pits, permeable pavements, but also a little bit more about the municipal context, which we love because it's really important that we have the industry capacity understanding the overall problem and helping address it on an individual property scale. The home assessment program is really great. Derek showed off his report. That's one thing that everyone gets is can be, it's like 7 pages, maybe up to 15 pages, depending on how big your property is. But home assessments are free. They take about an hour to do, and we have EnviroCenter deliver them. So that's a local nonprofit that you probably are familiar with. Like I said, we did 115 last year. Specifically, our home assessor, Lilia, did 115, and she's got her work cut out for her for 2022. She's going to deliver 150 of these. So she's making all the reports. So she's a real wealth of knowledge when it comes to what's going on with stormwater on people's properties. These are the design and installation incentives. We have more or less 4 things that are incentivized so that you can get rebates for. And the first is downspout redirection. So you see they correspond to the images across the bottom here. Getting water away from your house and onto a permeable area is one of the lowest cost and highest value things you can do. So often this can be as simple as kicking your downspout from your driveway over to a lawn or a garden, but sometimes it's more involved, and it can involve, cutting a path or redoing some interlocking that's next to your house. So for that reason, you get a rebate up to $1,000. This is based on sort of whatever you spent on it for materials and labor. The second is for rain gardens and soak-away pits. These are sort of 2 different practices, but they serve the same process, same purpose. It's to infiltrate rainwater into the ground on your property so it doesn't enter the storm system. The calculation is a little complex. It's basically based on the roof area and the garden area, but you can get up to $2,500 to help you install a rain garden. Permeable pavements, which I think gets a lot of attention these days, can help you reduce the impermeable area of your driveway. So you might have seen short videos of this on social media, people pouring buckets of water over pavement and it just goes right through. It really is sort of magical stuff. The maximum incentive is $5,000, and it's just based on the area of the driveway or the installation itself. So it could be a patio, it could be a pathway, where we don't care about that. And then if you work with a Fusion Landscape professional, you can get an additional $500 bonus to help with them to help basically afford that service, so you can get a designed landscape. So to get that, you have to install 2 of these practices, and it's got some sizing requirements, but I think a lot of people find that really handy if they go for professional help, because that can cost a little bit extra. For the home assessments, they're available a little more widely. So basically all of that gray area, both the dark and the light gray, you have home assessments available in that area. In the dark gray areas, those are our priority retrofit areas, and that's where rebates are available. So Mckellar Park is completely within that westernmost gray area, and that's what we call the Pinecrest Creek Westboro priority stormwater retrofit area. And then the 2 patches in the east are the eastern subwatersheds. So there's quite a few people that live in these areas. And so we're hoping that the impact, if we have a collective effort, can be quite great. This is just zoomed in. There's not a lot of definition to this map, but Mckellar Park is completely in that gray area. Here's just with a little satellite overlay. Mckellar Park's an interesting spot. It's got storm sewers, but not everywhere. It's got ditches, but not everywhere. So it's pretty mixed. You'll know the area much better than myself, but I did look up the stormwater characteristics of the area, and it basically all comes out one pipe right into the Ottawa River at the base of Wavell Avenue. And so you see that area is about 200 hectares, and it's 42% impervious. So that's 42% of that entire area that water cannot get through. So all of that is going directly into the storm system and goes out into the Ottawa River untreated, unfortunately. So it is picking up oil from roads, dirt and sediment, pesticides from lawns, pet waste, all kinds of stuff that if we don't just eject it straight into the river, it can infiltrate into the ground and it comes out cleaner and slower, and that's really better for the environment. So you see that it's 80% residential in this area. So it really means that residents here have the power to make the change on that impervious number. So it's really in the hands of folks like you to bring that 42% impervious down a little bit. And we can do that by downspout redirections and rain gardens and other things. Here's a little image. This is just Google Earth imagery, but basically if you're the river, this is what Mckellar Park looks like. And it all comes out at the base of that outfall 4307. And then there's a little one that also contributes to this and catches some runoff from Mckellar Park, but much, much smaller. It does about 3 hectares where the other one does 200. So really this is our opportunity, right? If we can green some of these properties in this area and make sure we're running off less water during storm events, then we can have, really contribute to the Ottawa River staying clean and clean and healthy. So we'll just run you through a couple of the practices that Rain Ready Ottawa does support. These are 2 examples of rain gardens. The benefits here are really awesome. These are beautiful gardens that often we really encourage native perennials. So these are plants that are already suited to the Ottawa area. Many of them are really lone bloomers and they bloom throughout the season. In turn creates habitat for pollinators, which can be a great learning opportunity for kids in the community. And they're pretty low maintenance, and that has to do with the fact that we fill them with native perennials. So these are plants that are used to a bit of wet and a lot of dry. So once they're established, they're pretty drought tolerant, but they're also pretty tolerant of a periodic inundation. They do require some upkeep, so it's not nothing, but it's less than a typical garden once they're established, and it can be, you know, comparable to lawn and things like that. Soakaway pits, like I said before, serving the same purpose as the rain garden, trying to drive water into the soil to slow it down and keep it clean. The benefits of this is that you can have turf on the top. So if you have a small yard or you need play space for kids or something like that, you can maintain some turf. So that's the main benefit there. But again, the drawbacks are no pollinator benefits. You're not going to get the monarchs visiting your lawn, whereas you would with a rain garden. Aesthetically, they're just lawn. So some people like that, some people don't. What you're seeing in that picture is basically, this is an engineered product that just holds the void space so that it can fill with water and then slowly seep out. So basically think of those as milk crates that all clip together, and then you would take the downspout from your roof and run it typically underground, and it would drain right into there. So can be really helpful for keeping, you know, soggier lawns a little bit drier and dealing with runoff at the same time. Downspout redirection, as I mentioned, this is one of those low cost, high impact changes that you can make. I encourage everyone to get out when it's raining and find all the downspouts at your house and see where that water goes. Because if it's going from downspout to driveway to street, it's basically going straight through the storm system. And that's what's causing those nasty effects on the Ottawa River, but also, you know, in neighboring communities, that's going right to Pinecrest Creek and places like that, and washing stuff down, and that can contribute to beach closures at Westboro Beach and other places. So, you know, I think that photo is probably familiar to a lot of people. A lot of houses were designed with downspouts that come right down onto a path, and in Ottawa, spring, fall, winter, that can be a real icy hazard. So you can really make some kind of safety improvements around your house as well. Reduce that trip and fall. A lot of people are putting copious amounts of salt on these areas, and then, you know, it kills your lawn right next to it. So we can usually make some pretty good improvements to people's properties with downspout redirections, and you can get help to do that through Rain Ready Ottawa. Oh, these are just some ideas about, you know, how to make downspout redirection a little bit more of a, you know, a design choice and sort of a feature in your yard. The first one is a bit of a dry creek bed. So that's obviously during a rain event where it's full up, but I think that's a really nice design choice for a lot of yards, and it's pretty low maintenance because it's just the stone there. In the center, that's a rain chain. So basically, instead of that straight tube downspout, you would have a chain that has sometimes decorative elements like this, but sometimes just a chain, and it just really collects the water and drives it down. So these work great, I would say, for smaller roof areas. Often, you know, a little landing above some stairs or something like that, it adds to the look of it. I think these are really great. My neighbors have one across the street, and I'm always admiring it. It's really cool. And theirs is above a landing. It's on a little roof. That third one is just another idea, you know, keeping like some sort of cascading water. I think, you know, your imagination is the limit with how these things go, but you can come up with some really interesting solutions there. And then I just wanted to give this. This might look familiar to Derek because he would have a similar illustration in his report, but this is part of sort of what Lilia does when she does a home assessment. Has a look at what's there and then sort of imagines what can be done. So this is like a bird's eye view or a raindrop's eye view, and this is what a home looks like to a raindrop. And if you fall on one side of the roof versus the other, you might end up in a different solution. So this would be a solution that Lily has come up with. And, you know, you see there's a rain garden in the front there, a permeable driveway and some rain barrels. And, you know, these are all things that Rain Ready Ottawa supports. And I get reports like these, and I look through the applications, and it's really great to see the projects that people come up with. Some are complex, some are simple, but often I end up giving people a call and working with them on their projects to make sure that they're ready to get Rain Ready Ottawa rebates, and they're going to work for the people. So making sure that the maintenance is there if they need it, and people are getting help if the projects are a little more complex. And that tends to be soakaway pits and permeable pavement driveways. I think that's it for my presentation. I'd love to leave some time for questions, and that can be whatever. But I would say I am open to chatting over email or the phone. I talk rain, and if you want to talk projects and what would work for your property, I'm always open to that. And then a shameless plug for our social media channels, our Instagram and our Facebook. Our Instagram has some interesting ones, and that's just an image of it. We put up a highlighted story, and it's actually a rain garden that I built in the front of my yard. And it was a really fun project. It's pocket size, so it's like 2 meters squared because it's just for a small roof. And it was really fun. I picked out all these native perennial plants, and in the second year they were going gangbusters. So I'm really looking forward to seeing them come up this spring, whenever that may be. But you can follow along with what we're doing at Rain Ready Ottawa this way. And then one more thing is that I would just mention that we are trying to support community fundraising opportunities. So if the community association or any groups that you may be involved with wanted to hold a rain barrel sale, these are great ways to raise some funds for your community, and they're really easy. You get in touch with this company called rainbarrel.ca, and they sort of set up all the logistics for you, and they'll deliver you the barrels. So you pick a date and you pick a place, and people come and pick up their barrels that they bought from you. You make $10 per barrel. Rain Ready Ottawa is supporting any community association that wants to do this. We will advertise on Facebook to promote your event. We will offer you prizes to make sure that you can add some incentives and get people excited about buying barrels. Okay, I'll go back to this, and then I'll just take questions. Derek, would you be able to field questions for me?
Yeah, for sure.